From Koreatown, Los Angeles, thank you for tuning in to Ktown Social Club. This is where the world gathers to talk about the issues that affect us all.
Yeah.
The only show you'll find that offers perspectives from the, what is that? Oh, the far left to the far right. Remember to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. Follow us on Instagram at Ktown Social Club. Smash the notification bell, as Michael Wan says.
Yeah, smash it.
I'm Michael Kim, joined by Michael Wan and Ed Choi. And today we are joined by Esther Lim, chair of the AAPI Advisory Board for the Los Angeles DA's office. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on Ktown Social Club.
Yeah.
Welcome, Esther.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you
Welcome
for having
back,
me.
actually, to this studio, right?
Thank you, yes.
It's your second time here.
You were on Culture Shock last year, right? Yeah. What were you here last year for? What were you talking about back then?
I was talking about my hate crime booklets and how it came into fruition. So we just had a discussion on COVID attacks to the Asian community and how I came to help people report and understand the process of reporting.
So the hate crime book was teaching people like in language of Korean or Vietnamese, whatever, how to report hate crimes.
Yes.
I see.
In
10
Los
different
Angeles.
languages, right?
Now it's 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I have like indigenous languages like Mayan and Quiche, and then now Bangla and Khmer. So we're expanding.
LA plus OC County, right? You're spreading
OC,
this,
Oregon, Illinois, New York, and
cross-country.
Maine. Yeah.
You started all this movement, right?
I just help people understand why reporting was important.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you translate it to Khmer, you should also send it to Wisconsin. I think they have the largest
Really?
population of Khmer
Okay,
people in
yeah.
America.
Gran Torino, right? Was that them?
So, yeah,
Gran Torino?
The Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
they were supposed
watched
to be
it,
Khmer.
yeah. Oh, was it there? Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, they were
around
Cambodian
there, yeah.
refugees, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us again today at Radio Korea.
Yes.
So there must be a very special reason you're here today. Like, what's going on? What's new?
Yeah.
So I recently heard of the Yong Yang tragedy.
Yong Yang.
Yeah, in May. And for me, it took a while to process as well. I was like, what is happening? And again, another very deadly use of force by law enforcement. And I just didn't think that was right. And so I wrote a letter on behalf of the advisory board. I co-wrote it with a retired judge, Diane Tan. And basically, we wanted to raise the issue of mental illnesses and of what it is exactly and broaden it to the community in LA, but also for police response to people dealing with a crisis. What should be the approach and what is appropriate? So I think with that, we want to push for reform. We want to push for a change of processes because right now we see it's not working. And one death affects like all of us. Like our Korean community has been affected. We're fearful. Even me, as a member of the advisory board for the DA's office, I'm fearful of calling the police too. So it's like, how can we combat this fear? And what do we need from our local officials and changes in law enforcement?
Okay. What are some of the... So, in case anyone isn't clear, what is the Yong Yang... I mean, you did a report about it.
Yeah.
Could you give us a very brief rundown what that happened there?
Yeah, so Yong Yang, he has schizophrenia. And that day on May, he was having an episode. So he went over to his parents' house, and then his parents, I think they even slept in their car because he was yelling so loudly, and they were scared that people were going to call the police. And knowing what happens when the police are called for mental health, they were like, you know what? We're just gonna get out of the house, and hopefully maybe he'll,
calm down.
Yeah. And the next morning they went back and he was still having his episode. It was getting very severe. So his dad called DCMH, which they've done before. They put him on a 5150, which is, the 3-day psychiatric hold at a hospital. They called, the guy arrived, the guy from DCMH, went up to the apartment with Yong Yang's father, and didn't even interact with Yong Yang. It was the dad who was, forward and speaking to Yong Yang through the door, and Yong Yang didn't even recognize where he was, let alone his parents. Told him he wasn't going to, open up for them, told him to leave. I guess the DCMH guy got offended, didn't want to do his job that day, supposedly, possibly, and he called 911. And he told them exactly these words. He called Yong Yang very violent.
Yeah. That was the turning point.
That was
right?
the damning point.
Yeah.
At which point the police arrived. They tried to get him to open the door. They couldn't. They called for backup. And then they wait for sergeant to arrive. The sergeant gets there. She does this thing where she kind of like confuses the father. She says, if we're going to go up there, it has to be because it's like you're wanting to press it's going to be like trespassing. Mm-hmm. And she's like, we might have to put our hands on him to get him out, they said. So Yong Yang's father is like, I don't know what my options even are, essentially, in his head. So he just kind of goes along with it, gives him the keys, and they go up there. The police officer, the sergeant, I believe, starts talking through the door to Yong Yang. Yong Yang's talking about, how he's been killed multiple times before. He doesn't want to be killed again because he's hallucinating from his psychiatric episode. Yeah. He's actually thinking he's seeing demons, which is terrifying. If you think you're seeing demons, So after he says this stuff through the door, the sergeant goes, "Your parents are worried. Do you understand that, or us, or whatever?" It's like, what do you mean? He just said things that don't make any logical sense. What do you mean? Do you understand? Because they were even like, your parents are worried for you. He's like, no, they're not. He didn't recognize his parents. He didn't even understand that he was at his parents' house. Yet they're like, oh, do you? So they like completely just ignored the fact that he was having a mental health crisis.
He was having a schizophrenic episode.
Right. So they just don't even acknowledge that in any way, shape, or form.
Like it didn't happen.
They do nothing to try to talk him down. Just like the DCMH guy who should be trained, that's his job.
Yeah.
To sit there, make the person feel. Because like this is the thing. He's seeing demons. If someone was seeing demons, you should be spending time to try to get them to calm down, see rationally, just befriend them because they're in a state of fear, right? They don't do that. They go back down, they regroup, they come up with the keys, they open the door, and because, again, Yong Yang is seeing demons in his mind, he's holding a kitchen knife.
Yeah.
And he starts taking steps, and I can't validate this, but I am 90% sure he was trying to close the door because the door was like open. I want to say about like 45 to like 55 degrees. So like the hand that he had the knife with started going towards the door. And with his other hand, his right hand, he literally has it like this, stop. Yeah. And then as he takes the steps forward, they're like, stop. The police start panicking. They immediately fire 4 shots, I believe. Yong Yang dies. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't think the family received his body until almost a month and a half, if not month later. They didn't even let him see the body for over a month. His family their claim is that the whole time there was a paramedic there, they didn't even let the paramedics go up after he was shot. They let the firefighters up there. They didn't let him see his body. Yong Yang's father just texted yesterday asking, like, hey, do you know how I can get his clothes back? And I was like, I think you should ask that during the town hall. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We need to humanize the fact that there's behind all of this, there's still a family that's mourning their son.
Okay.
But it's just injustice after injustice, starting from starting from people's like psychological beliefs and attitudes towards mental health. It's discrimination all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I mean, thank you for the the rundown of everything that happened.
Of course.
So you're doing a town hall to address what could have been done instead, or?
Well, it's just essentially like for the community to gain back a little bit of confidence and a little bit of hope and faith of our system. A system that is broken, but what are our officials going to do about it and what law enforcement is going to do about it? Attitude needs to change even with the community itself of how we perceive people with mental illnesses.
Yes.
So first is learning how to identify it is most important. And then how to respond or deal with people every day who is dealing with a crisis if we are able to identify it. So the town hall is going to be on July 11th. It's next Thursday at 6 p.m. at World Mission University. It's going to be on the 6th floor, but we're sixth floor in the main chapel. And we are going to have a 3-part panel. One is going to be basically people with lived experiences of, family or friends who have, had to deal with the mental health crisis and what their experience was and how traumatized they are. And it's just gaining more understanding and empathy. And we are having a mental health clinician there. And then for the second part of the panel, we're going to have hopefully representatives from LAPD, but we have LASD confirmed to attend and speak to the community. And then the third part of the panel is going to be city and county officials or representatives who can talk about what's been happening, what strategies or what they have been implementing to safeguard the community in response. So we're not going to get all the answers there.
No.
We aren't, but it's a start because I think dialogue needs to happen between community members and city officials and county officials because that is the most important thing is dialogue to happen and then we can go on to next steps into progressing.
Did George Gascon, the DA for the county, did he come out and condemn the police actions? Because usually he would, if you look at his prior records, he is kind of against police brutality, right? So.
Yes. So I don't think he's made a statement on this case specifically.
I think it's because of the knife.
It is the knife, but because the Attorney General's office is investigating it, that's why I don't think he can comment. Okay. Because it is an ongoing investigation that his office isn't doing. Right. So with fatal shootings is when the cases turn to the Attorney General's office, the state, instead of the county.
Can we know who this DCMH worker
DMH?
is? Yeah. DMH,
no.
The one who...
Oh, yes. I heard they are Korean, though.
He was Korean. I got confirmation from the family.
I got confirmation, too, that he was Korean.
Yeah, I don't know the name. I don't know the name, but it's kind of telling of what happened. And I think people with experience need to be called to respond.
It's insane that someone who works with, it's crazy that someone who works with mentally, like people who are suffering from mental health crisis, knowing the statistics and what happens when police are involved, especially with people of color, for them to just vilify someone, that's ridiculous.
Because he was saying it's a super urgent situation or something.
Yeah,
right?
basically.
And they were, so that makes LAPD have their guards up.
Right.
And I think that escalated this situation with Yong Yang being shot down.
And plus, also the clinician probably didn't realize that there might be a high chance that this might end fatally. But I just don't think that from talking to other clinicians who respond to mental health crisis situations, first thing they tell me, they say, de-escalation takes time.
Yes.
It's time you need, no matter what. And if law enforcement goes to training, they will understand that too, that time is needed to de-escalate.
Trust. It takes time to build trust in someone. And when you're scared, you need to be able to establish trust to de-escalate.
Yes. So like kind of what they say is like you have to, if they're in that place, a clinician is in that place, they have to understand where that patient, how they might be thinking. So they kind of play on that they're in the same world. So that calms them down. If somebody can really understand saying, hey, oh, I see demons too, or I don't know what the right response is, but playing into that, so that trust is built. And so in this case, it seemed like everything was done hastily.
Yeah, there was no care.
And like, it's funny, like all the steps seem to have been followed. Protocol was followed from the clinician, they said, and from law enforcement too. I don't want to speak for anyone, but not enough time was spent at the end of the day to de-escalate.
Okay, so you mentioned that the system's broken, but we want to have more faith in it? Or?
Well, we want to have more faith in it based on what they say changes will be made, on what kind of changes will be made, and what changes are happening now. Because I know there are some organizations, such as LA Forward, who's pushing to have 911 calls diverted for certain issues, and one of them is mental health crisis.
That's one of the most calls that are made for 911.
So
isn't it almost extremely difficult to change protocol? That's what I heard. They usually rarely do it, and if the police force has to change it, they have to be aligned with other city police force as well. So it's almost slim to none, the chance of changing the protocol.
Well, that's why it's like the people, we have to voice our opinion, and we have to be louder and vocal so that we push for change.
Yeah. In fact, this is they're trying to push. So the Yong Yang's family, outside of pushing for justice, obviously lawsuits for everyone involved. We're also pushing for systemic change, which actually historically in America will be one of the first times as an Asian American community that we're actually protesting for systemic change. So Yong Yang's name and legacy will actually become that, hopefully.
It can be a symbol
It can
of this
be.
change.
Right. But even the interim chief of police of LAPD, Dominic Choi, has admitted to the fact that the police department is not equipped or trained to handle mental health. That they don't do it. In fact, it goes against their protocol, because their protocol is to. It's not to protect and serve, as the police pretend to be.
Enforce.
Yeah, but the police are trained to believe that anyone can kill you, because it is. I mean, realistically, it is. A lot of police officers get shot and injured even just from pulling over a car. So they're trained to do that to protect themselves. So that goes against even what Esther just said about having to have time, having to build trust. Like you don't try to build trust with someone that you're like, I don't know if you're going to kill me. You know what I mean? So there's no reason why police should ever be involved at all.
So the mental health worker, the Korean guy, he never should have called LAPD.
That's what some people have been. Yeah.
Well, they say
it would have been better if he didn't call.
Not within 2 minutes. 3
Time.
minutes.
But he was offended. What you said, right? He was offended by Yong Yang's
That's how he
attitude.
acted.
Well, like the thing is, they're given the okay from their supervisor to call the cops to ask for backup if they feel like their life is in danger or if other people might be threatened.
But the protocol is when the police are called, I believe the clinician is supposed to be the front man.
No. So that part is between the clinician and LAPD. Once LAPD comes on scene, they might ask for help, but it's their process that takes over.
That shouldn't be protocol either.
So that's why, yeah.
How long was that Korean guy there before he called the police, though?
I believe he might have been there for a little bit longer, but the interaction part was minutes. And that was from Yong Yang's dad himself.
I mean, it makes people very scared to call police,
Of course.
Because I think when you call police, it feels like anybody can be shot and be killed if you're just a little bit wrong, about your movement.
Just a little bit of melanin.
And Yong Yang being schizophrenic, there's a lot, there's a high possibility that he might act the way that, according to protocol, that police can shoot legally. So, I mean, so I think people are kind of sick and tired of it, and that's why there's a lot of anti-police feeling towards it, towards this situation too. especially Korean American being Korean. He's a Korean national, right? He's not even a United States citizen. What I understand is Korean national. So how can this change? It's very difficult to change. We feel like there must be like a revamp of this whole protocols system. And would it make a change? This hearing, and we continuously. Should just one hearing change it?
No,
what should we do it?
it's
What should we do after this?
I think for now is having open communication and having LA County officials, city officials, law enforcement be open and honest. So I had some suggestions on my letter to them of what steps can we take. So pick some short-term and long-term goals. What are the first low-hanging fruits that we can change and achieve? And for me, I just think is implementing mandatory training for officers, for all officers, starting at the recruiting academy. So once they're fresh in the recruitment phase and doing all these trainings for weeks, that mental health take a large part of it as well, that it is given more importance than shooting. Maybe that's my opinion, but training and retraining current officers, deputies to go into maybe trainings once every 6 months or once a year. But that is the thing we need, because without training, without re-education, things like this will keep going and it will become more severe. Yeah. So think about it. This is like the weight of just one life being lost. Is our entire Korean community. We're frazzled by it. We're still trying to process. His whole family is still mourning and trying to deal with all this and the media. And then we have our city facing a lawsuit again. And that's going to cost us hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. So this is just one life. And those millions of dollars, it can't equate to his life, but that's the cost of his life.
Yeah, and even the mental health little training that the police have to do isn't technically mandatory. Like, you can have an excuse and skip it.
You don't need to follow it.
Yeah, saying that, I'm busy, I have to go on scene for something, or I have another meeting. Yep. So it needs to be mandatory.
Yeah, so LA County had a budget regarding mental health, $3 billion budget, and I think didn't the city also allocate like $9 million for these kind of specific incidents? So I don't understand why the police had to deal with this.
So I think it's because even for the city, the $9 million isn't enough, and I don't think they got it all. I think they were approved for $4.
Yeah, 2 or 4 or something.
$4 million.
Like that.
Okay. But that went into like programs like UMCR, where only 3 areas, if they call in LA, if they call 911 for a mental health crisis, UMCR will respond. So basically 911 is given for those 3 areas in LA, are given a sheet of who to call for which category. And so mental illness, all diverted to UMCR, where they will respond.
And the majority of that budget actually goes towards like administrative stuff.
And the thing is, it's
like usually the homeless stuff too, right?
But you think $4 million,
sounds like a lot.
Millions.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
But to serve the entire LA community, from LA forward, they said they need $84 million.
Yeah. $84 million.
And that's what defunding the police means. It doesn't mean like let's abolish the police. It just means like
rerouting some
why does the police department need like a $5 billion annual budget? They don't, especially when they're complaining about having to be called to like mental health calls. Like then we should allocate those funds to the right people with the right skill set to be able to handle this without people dying.
Yeah, I thought they allocated more money to the mental health situation.
Did you say they got billions of dollars? You said that a few minutes ago.
For
LA County Department of Mental Health got a budget of $3 billion.
For 1 year.
For 1 year, yeah.
$3 billion.
So yeah, but I mean when
Can
these.
I see that? Where is it?
No, it was Google. I just Googled it. So.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's very frustrating whenever we see these kind of incidents. In retrospect, how were they supposed to handle this to prevent Yong Yang being shot dead?
There needs to be a protocol for. I mean, like before they went in, when the sergeant, it almost seemed performative because they did it. She was even like, "Who's going to be my less lethal?" And someone was like, "Hey, me." And I think a second officer even, said something about how they had beanbags. Maybe
Yes.
I heard. But where was that officer? Why wasn't that officer leading forward? You know what I mean? Like, why? I don't understand why guns are even used for mental health calls at all.
Does that officer have a history of shooting, or
The officer that shot does.
The Hispanic
Yes.
officer, right?
I think they had 2 prior
Records.
incidents where they fatally shot somebody.
So why is that person leading it?
Right.
And
Why?
And what I didn't understand is in the video clip, weren't they kind of talking for a while of what how they handle it?
Yeah.
And for them to talk for a while and then come to conclusion to just open the door and shoot, that is kind of like a little bit
is it
crazy.
possible that officer just likes to shoot people?
I think
I
he's
don't
just
know
a coward.
him.
I mean,
But-
I hear that if somebody is a bad person and they want to hurt people, one of the best jobs they can do is become a police officer.
I think
That
that
is very
officer
scary
just
to
saw the
hear.
knife
That
and
is very scary
didn't
to-
assess the situation correctly and reacted to it too quickly.
Yeah, he's a coward.
So it's improper reaction.
Because when you look at the video, it's obvious that he wasn't going to throw the knife for it, right?
No.
He was just doing wasn't it like this? This was on
Because
this side and
I've
then
seen
approaching.
people who go after cops. You can see it in their eyes. You can see the anger. You can see the vitriol. You can see whatever. When you look at that video, you see fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I literally don't understand how this and this
Yeah.
equates to, he's gonna kill me.
They said he lunged, right?
Yeah, no, he didn't lunge.
Okay. Well,
the autopsy show any drug?
Maybe
I'm just
cannabis?
I don't
Maybe?
know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm just wondering.
anyway,
Well, I
so
think-
drugs were found on the scene.
Yeah, they said,
Yeah,
I
the
believe it
drug
was
right?
cocaine.
yeah.
So wondering, he might, even though he might have had a cocaine episode, schizophrenic episode. I think in those situations, I don't think cops should just go in and barge in and.
I agree.
They should have just let him finish that episode or
mean,
whatever. And
especially
He
when
was
the-
in his own parents' apartment by himself.
Yeah.
He must have calmed down at some point, right? We don't know whether it might take the next day or the day after.
And the parents never actually really agreed to the trespassing thing, so the police weren't even following the right things.
okay.
Like, none of it should have happened.
Yeah. So if protocols change, will they work? Well, yeah. I don't
We're
know.
trying to push for it, but this town hall is a start to a conversation to do that.
And we're leading the charge as our community, but this isn't just our community. This affects
All communities.
all,
Yeah, it
but
does, yeah.
specifically people of color.
And mental health. Yeah.
Yes. Because like if you have a drop of melanin in you, the darker you are, the higher the chances are when the police are called during the mental health crisis that you might die.
So LAPD people would be there too for July 11th. We're wondering.
We are hoping so. We are hoping so because
So they
right
didn't
now,
confirm,
as
no
I told
confirmation.
you, in the meeting with your team, that they don't expect them to answer any questions
Right.
regarding Yong Yang
Because
specifically.
of a lawsuit.
Yeah, because it is a pending lawsuit, things can be used against them. So they also have to be careful too. So they will answer general questions.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping that they come because I think it's important to
Yeah.
show face. Even if you're going to get shit on because you know that we are riled up, we are angry. And
Right.
so it's like, be courageous.
Right.
Be a little,
Accountable.
yes, accountable and, cowboy up.
PPT Cam all. All right, so here's the details for the town hall. The LA District Attorney's AAPI Advisory Board Mental Health Crisis Response Town Hall.
And if,
will
if
be
you
on-
are in the LA area, though, we are planning to meet there. I believe it's either an hour or two beforehand.
Okay, let me know. So I'll organize this space for you. To
Oh,
meet.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So that they are planning to have people there. So, but if you are in the LA area, we'll obviously go over the details with you to
Yeah,
make sure everything's
let
okay.
me know.
Yeah. But I believe about an hour or two beforehand, if as many people can show up, so we can rally and support and let them know that the community is behind this, because they can't not take us seriously if they understand that like this cannot be swept under the rug. And we also know that this isn't gonna be a solve all. This isn't
No, this is just a start.
This is just the first step.
Yeah.
Right. And
Radio Korea is there too, right? We're one
no,
of the...
we endorsed the thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
right.
endorsed the letter. Thank you.
July 11th will be next Thursday. George Gascon will be there, DA? LA
No,
County
right now
DA.
his schedule is
Might be
booked.
dangerous.
His schedule is booked right now,
Okay.
but his team said he'll try his best. But we will have a representative from the DA's office there who can speak on this issue of law enforcement response.
Great.
So the town hall is on July 11th, 2024. It's Thursday at 6 p.m. at World Mission University, which is at 500 Chateau Place, Suite 600. That's where the Chinese consulate...
The embassy is, yeah.
Okay. Falun Gong, I think, protests out there.
Oh, really? Do
Every
they?
single day, every single day.
Really?
Yeah.
Right now?
I rent out an office there on the 5th floor. I hear protesting every day.
Oh my god.
Where there are just people out there with the sign and doing meditation. So
Falun Gong.
That's Falun Gong. Yep. That is the most Falun Gong thing I've ever heard.
What's your thought about Falun Gong? You know, out of curiosity. You
I
think they're
have
odd?
no idea actually what it is, but I always see the signs and I always see them protesting. I'm
They're
like,
behind Shen Yun.
who's that?
That dance
Shenyun
thing.
is a dance. Yeah, you always
You know the things that you see advertisements
Yeah.
everywhere,
LA
like on your
Times,
car.
all over the place,
You have
yeah.
billboards.
So-
So
billboards.
why are they protesting?
China.
They have issues with
They also have the Epoch Times newspaper, New Tang Dynasty Television.
NTD.
They hire a lot of famous American political commentators to do videos. They also do entertainment stuff like Strictly Dumpling. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they do.
The food
Okay.
videos, animal
Is it
videos. They're a huge
Strictly
media
Dumpling,
company
Strictly
now.
Dumpling.
I didn't
I
know
should
he
look
was,
into
but
this.
I used to watch his videos.
They're a
Yeah.
bit salty because they got kicked out of China because China
got kicked
considered them
out.
a cult.
Yeah, they got
Oh,
kicked
no.
out.
Because, you know, it's like Tai Chi exercises and all this, but the leader is kind of revered as a cult-like figure, maybe. So a lot of his followers would not go to the hospital and whatever because they thought they could heal
Yeah.
naturally. Some of them died,
Yep.
so they were kind of banished.
Wow.
And then now they're in New York
Yep.
mainly, and they do their Shenyun performance show all over the country.
That's how they generate the funds, I believe.
They have their newspapers, their
Yep.
news broadcasts, entertainment broadcasts. They have a lot of stuff going on. So
But
a
even
lot of
Wow.
He's ostracized by China, pretty much
Yeah.
ostracized
yeah,
by China.
but he
so I
has
think
a
he has a
big
lot of
following.
so
They're
he
very strong.
They're huge.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think he has a lot of anger.
And there's like a
Yeah.
bunch of
China.
like abuse accusations from people who used to be Shenyun dancers.
oh
too.
really
Yeah,
too?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, there's
I
that
mean,
kind of
that's
story.
like a lot of cult leaders'
I mean,
backgrounds.
Shenyun, that concert has been going on for like years, right? I've seen
years. And it always started off like people making fun of it because you just see the advertisements everywhere until people started being like, yeah, that's Falun Gong. People are like, what's Falun Gong?
Yeah,
And
most people would probably not know about Falun Gong unless.
but
you're-
like if you really pay attention, I've never seen it. But from what I hear, it's the show is anti-Chinese.
oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Like it's not
so
hard
there's
to
a
see
message.
it.
I mean, I
they
think-
say China before communism.
Yep,
they
yep,
always say, yeah.
So he's banned. The leader of Falun Gong, he's banned
Li
from
Hongzhi.
China, right? He's
Yeah,
complete
I'm sure,
lifetime
yeah.
ban, right?
Wow.
So I think probably he
Well,
wants to go back to China.
he left because he wanted to practice freely.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a nice home in New York.
But he was a mainland guy originally,
Yes.
mainland China guy.
That's
believe-
really sad to be exiled in any situation
Yeah.
or your
I
home
think-
country.
Yes, so
Yeah.
he does a
Yeah.
lot of anti-China things.
He is bitter.
He's angry.
Yeah.
bitter. I think he's really
Very
bitter.
bitter.
That's the impression I get. Yeah, he's
Are we
very
the only
bitter.
media that endorse this?
Right now,
It seems like so.
yes.
What is Thai CDC?
Thai CDC is
Cultural Development Center.
yes. So they are a very amazing group. They do a lot of work with labor justice and trafficking, especially. But they also have their own HUD department that they help relieve for Thai Americans.
Okay.
and they help with a lot of social
Justice.
They're a
social
LA
issues.
group.
Okay.
LA group. But
Okay.
they're also nationwide. They work with the Department of Justice with like going on takedowns for trafficking.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
incidents. So
amazing.
yeah, they do really great work. I'm happy that they're able to endorse this. And the Latin Advisory Board from the
Yep.
DA's office.
Is that
and
this
the,
one?
Yeah, that's the
Okay, that's
Latin
one.
board. And then
And
the
then this is you, right?
AAPI
and then
Advisory Board.
the African American Advisory Board also endorsed the
African
letter.
American did too.
African-American.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
So
they think they've been oppressed.
Yeah,
by,
so-
No, because no one's affected more by mental health
Yeah,
murders than
than
the black
the
community.
black-
the chair of the African American board will be part of the panel with
that's great.
Min and Yin.
Okay.
And then through Peace, is that also your organization?
That's my nonprofit. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Peace. You have a lot of nonprofit. That one.
No, that's the
because like
nonprofit.
the
Okay,
hate
the
crime
one
book
where
was
you
just
made
a
the booklet,
grassroots
okay.
project, and
Yeah.
then Through Peace is my own.
Did you make this website?
I did
Nice.
very
Oh, you made
didn't
it by
take much
yourself.
time.
You made it by yourself.
I think I spent more time on my hate crime book website, but I'm so tired.
What do you think about Nathan Hockman? Since George Gascon is squaring off against him come November.
I don't know about
You can't talk about it?
Nathan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I do know. Yeah. I just would endorse Gascon.
Okay.
He was supposed to be here today too. He's coming next week, right?
Nathan Hockman's coming.
Oh,
come
wow.
Next week,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
George Gascon was here too. He was sitting right
Yeah.
here, right over here.
Oh, yeah, he had on a mask.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
he
was
did.
during COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had COVID. he
Oh.
said.
Wait, are you the one that helped us
Yes,
get gas?
she
Yes,
did.
yes,
She did.
I-
She did. Yeah,
yeah.
she did.
Wow,
Because
you
he wanted to be more involved in the Korean American community. So that's why
yeah.
Huh.
Mr. Gascon seems to be a very nice guy.
he's very nice.
He used to be a chief of police in like
He was.
Arizona or New Mexico, right?
Phoenix, I think.
I think so.
Phoenix.
And then he would go after like dirty cops, right?
I believe so.
There's a lot of those here.
He said his
What's
views about police changed when he was doing
I mean,
police
he's-
work in Arizona,
yeah,
Phoenix, because he
but-
saw a lot of brutality. That's
Yep.
what, according
He's
to him.
charged the most out of any DA of law enforcement who has,
Yeah.
had a case of misconduct. So he's a DA who has charged the most law enforcement officers or deputies.
Wow. So he's the one trying to get rid of all the bad apples.
I would hope so.
You would hope
He's
so.
pushing for change.
No,
Yeah,
because that's
because-
what we talk about. We talk about like, hey, if the good cops are protecting the bad cops, are they still good cops?
Nope.
And then you got this guy who's actually was a police
'Cause-
chief, and he's
yeah.
going after the bad cops. But unfortunately, the problem is he doesn't seem to be going after some criminals.
some
Apparently,
criminals.
that's what I hear. That's what I hear.
That's
I mean, a
I'm
lot
not
of-
gonna
what do you
answer any
think?
of
A
that.
lot of
Yeah,
because
people
I don't
are
know.
blaming Gascon
Yeah.
for the uptick in massive amount of crimes in
like
LA.
smash and grab.
Smash and
all
grabs. And as someone who did have a store and a gallery in Fairfax, I did
Mm-hmm.
watch that area
Okay.
completely go downhill.
those. Wow.
I watched I have Citizen on my app. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh,
app.
I know.
I know, I
Citizen.
know.
Yeah,
it too.
and I would be at the gallery, and I would see things like armed robbery 300 feet from your location
Yeah.
all the time.
I mean,
Armed
that's
robbery.
not all him.
No. He's not the one doing it.
Yeah,
but
but,
the
like,
thing that people
charging.
are. Yeah, but the things that people are saying is that because he's not hard on them, a lot of them are getting released the same
And that
day.
is true, right? This is true.
Yeah.
Well,
Facts,
the thing
yeah,
is,
like-
even if
Yeah,
they
there-
get charged, even like it's up to the judge and the jury
Yeah.
to determine what their sentencing
Right,
actually is. So he might charge, but for them to actually win, I don't know. It's all depends on the judge. And some cases, most cases, are to the city attorney's office as well. So it needs to be a level of
The city-
accountability.
the city-
Yeah, no, for sure.
The city attorney's office, they take care of misdemeanors.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe so. And
the county ones, I
it's
think
more
even,
criminal, like
yeah.
more severe
But
charges.
the problem is, like, even felony-wise, I think I talked with Gascon about this. About there has been some incidents even involving Korean community who has been victims of these heinous crimes, and they would get charged and then get released, and they would
Yeah.
commit another crime,
They
and
do
then that was
yeah.
one of the victims.
Do it the
claimed.
same day.
have
Yeah,
your
yeah.
And I
recidivism,
think-
but then it's like, okay, let's say the DA's office was successful in charging somebody who committed a crime. They successfully put that person in prison, but then it's like, oh, okay, prison has no more space, so everyone, these people get out. So that's the system, not the DA's office specifically.
Could there be a conspiracy by the police to get rid of Gascon by the system to let criminals go and whatever, just so they can blame everything on Gascon and get rid of him? Put in Jackie Lacey back, or
I think there's a lot of misplaced anger.
People really
and blame.
are angry at Gascon.
Yeah.
I didn't say I believe that. I'm just saying
I don't really know. I like that he goes after cops, but then what I hear from like
the crime,
like other people,
yeah,
especially Koreans, they're really pissed off at him. Especially Young Kim. He hated Gascon.
Yeah.
He was always talking crap
because
about
LA
him.
Times even reported about some incidents regarding Gascon. So I think obviously probably he might be good at going after bad cops, but I think he should, like Michael said, I think he should go after real bad dudes too.
I didn't say that.
Didn't you just say?
I just said he doesn't seem. He puts words in my mouth.
You guys,
that he doesn't seem to go after.
Yeah,
so if you guys are concerned
that
with
turns
that,
into go after the.
No.
Okay, so then you didn't
Whoa,
say it.
don't
But
bring me in here.
Isn't that what you said? That Fairfax has been going downhill ever since all these. These are facts. I don't think these are made up.
I think it would have been going downhill anyway, though, under Jackie Lacey, the previous.
Yes.
It still would have been getting
I think
bad.
Jackie Lacey was a little bit more.
It was
hardcore
COVID. COVID was a big factor. The fact that people were not able to put food on the table.
Economy plays a huge
then
role
100%.
in crime.
But I've never
accountability
I've
too.
never seen like the entire community blame one person, and usually Gascon's name does come out a lot. I think you must have.
I know,
Yeah,
that's why-
it sucks for him.
But previously people didn't blame like a DA.
No,
like,
but that's why I
the
think
sole
it's a
DA.
conspiracy, because nobody ever cared about the DA before, and suddenly, like, this guy who goes after cops, who goes after the establishment, comes out, and now everyone's against him, saying it's all his fault.
That's a theory.
That's why I got suspicious, because I'm like, nobody ever knew I knew who Jackie Lacey was, but because I protested against her once. But that was like 10 years ago. But nobody knows who she is, and nobody knows. And then suddenly everyone's like, Gascon's coming, Gascon, this piece of crap, this guy. And then once he's in, it's like, it's all Gascon's fault. It's like somebody said it in the media. It's like it's been repeated so many times, and
I think people take that as fact.
Yeah, I think it's not just Gascon. It's also Proposition 47 regarding the
for
$950.
sure. I mean,
most
of it.
Too,
Most of it is legislation, the court system, and the jail system. So 100% it's not all Gascon, but I never really thought of it that way.
Same.
I kind of
It makes sense now.
I kind of
why
tend to agree with
people
you.
are so riled up, like
Yeah.
it's masses. But personally, from what I have experienced firsthand, Gascon's a really good guy. He really cares. And you can tell by the way he communicates and interacts with everyone in his office too. So he's very respectful, and
You're
It's
saying
good to know.
that he got a bad name by
well,
certain
I think it's
sectors,
a lot of
right?
bad. Even when he was here, I was expecting you and Young to like just demolish him, maybe.
they kind of did. I was getting nervous for his guy. Honestly, I was like, oh my
You're like,
god.
You were here.
Yeah, I
He
was
was
here.
here. She
I was
was here.
sitting
She was
on the
sitting over
couch,
there.
and I was like,
think I
oh
was
my
at-
gosh, I was
I
sweating
talked
for
about all
him.
these- the LA Times article too.
No, but when
'cause
I-
the Times article was blaming him too. I think.
Yeah.
But when I listen to Gascon's answers, I'm like, oh, these are
He's
good
very
answers.
assertive,
Like,
and
Yeah,
he
because you
explained
were-
himself
but
well.
you were against Jackie Lacey too, because Jackie Lacey lost to
No.
George Gascon.
no, I was no, because back in like 2013 or whatever, the police killed this mentally ill woman who was holding a knife. She was just walking.
A similar situation.
I think her name was Norma Guzman. That was
Yeah.
her name.
Yep.
And I saw the video of that too. And yeah, she was walking to them, and then they just shot her dead. And I'm like, why do you do that? And then Jackie Lacey wouldn't charge those guys. So, I went out there and we were saying shit. So, but that's how I knew who
Good
Jackie
for
Lacey
you.
was, And
You're an activist.
I mean, Gascon did beat 2 recalls, so he's still, there,
yeah,
RDA.
exactly.
yeah, I really don't know about him. I don't
I
know.
mean, he is a nice person without a doubt. I think he's a very gentle person if you talk with him. He's
I
from
like his accent.
He's from Cuba, right?
Cuba, yeah.
Cuba, yeah. So
Is he pro Castro?
I don't. His parents escaped
That would make you love him
because of him.
I know, but maybe he's pro-Castro.
I don't think so. His family was affected.
Yeah.
So his family were like plantation owners, or
I have no idea.
okay.
The
Doug
exact-
would say gusanos. He always says, right? Yeah. Do you know Doug? He usually sits right there.
no.
We really wanted Doug here for this
Doug?
because
He had to be in New York, so
he's a regular like Ed, and he's like the Korean American communist.
Oh,
And
how shocked she became, man.
I don't think it would be a very fruitful conversation if he were here.
The introduction should be
I
slow.
would imagine like how much he would be like.
yeah, but you know how conservatives accuse Democrats of being communists and all that?
Yeah,
Doug is like, fuck the Democrats. They're like Republicans. You know, I'm a real
Yeah.
communist.
I would have laughed then. I'm glad.
No, he's an angry. Oh, hi, Doug. No, Doug's a really cool
Passionate.
guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's passionate.
Yeah.
He's really concerned about hate crimes against Asians. He gets very riled up about that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he feels about Gascon, though.
I don't agree with like a lot of what Doug says, you know, but he's a good guy.
Yeah,
I
as
mean,
long as it's
somewhere in
you
there.
know
I mean,
respectful
I already
dialogue.
talked with Doug about it, and I said when he talks about communism and those history of Stalin, Karl Marx, I told him, you know, hey, I know the Western version of it. I didn't get to really see from his point of view. So, I mean, he's a fun dude to be around with, but usually when you sit there, you become a communist. I'm just kidding.
No, he's the only one that
I'm
thinks
just
that.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
There's
Yeah,
no
so
label here.
You're more like liberal, right? Or
Yeah, I'm just
progressive.
like more progressive somewhere.
And he says
I lean
independent,
more.
which always means conservative. It's for conservatives who don't want to admit that they're conservative.
No,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm against.
They want to toe the line.
So I'm against the establishment ones, the one that who always, you know, like the George W.
Yeah.
Bush and you know the rhinos, the
Trump-
Paul
Trumper.
Ryan, and who else? Like those, yeah, along those lines. You know, professional politicians. You know,
Yeah.
seems to be-
So you like Donald Trump, Vivek?
No, I mean, it's not like I like Trump. You know, it's not like but I do like Trump because he's an outsider compared to Biden.
Yeah, so
It's
be-
okay though
be
because he
proud,
can't
be
can't
proud.
vote anyway.
If you like Trump, no.
Yeah, that's I respect your opinion.
Yeah, I mean because
what that means. Translation. Ugh.
I mean, did you watch the debate?
No, I didn't even
How
need
can anybody
to.
say that
Who
he's a
wanted
good
to
leader?
watch
You
it?
know, I don't think he
No.
knows what's going on.
Wait, versus
I
the guy
mean-
who said immigrants are taking black and Hispanic
No,
jobs.
he was talking about illegals. You know, illegal.
No, I know,
immigrants,
no,
you know,
but, like,
undocumented,
what is a
those
black
people.
job?
Yeah, those terms.
Yeah, what's a black job?
I
What's
think-
a Hispanic job?
So I can understand when people attack Trump regarding those things. I think Trump makes sloppy mistakes like those. You know, those.
But those
rhetorics or
sloppy
stuff.
mistakes
Yeah,
are
I
like
agree.
called racism.
Yeah, he's terrible.
It could- you know,
Terrible.
I know in California they all hate him. You know, I mean, it's we're gonna.
You don't hate him.
California.
I don't hate him.
California's
I
gonna
think
vote.
he's ridiculous, but I don't hate him.
I hate him.
Yeah, but you.
I think he's ridiculous, and Biden is demented, or he's.
I
What do you
hate
call
both.
it? He doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, he has dementia.
This is, you know,
Then how about Robert Kennedy Jr. then?
Oh, fuck that guy. He's
Why?
like worse than most.
he's a hardcore Zionist.
Yeah, he's crazy.
So you don't like anybody? Why
No.
don't you run, Ed?
Because I don't want to be put in that.
I know this makes me think that now more younger people need to start getting
100%.
into
No, no, I-
politics.
100%.
Okay, so one of the reasons why I liked Trump and Bernie Sanders during the
Oh,
2016.
I loved Bernie
I-
Sanders.
Because I wanted to see
too.
some outside people
Yeah.
going off.
The
him.
way the
So-
Democratic Party snubbed Bernie Sanders
Yeah, I
was their
mean,
own goddamn
I,
undoing.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed because I went to his rally. Like, did you guys? I went to his rally here at Walton, right in front of Radio Korea.
Oh,
he had
yeah,
a rally
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and so
I drove past it.
Huh?
I drove past. I saw the.
Yeah.
No, I was looking at all the Bernie
Yeah,
people
so I
outside.
went to the
yeah.
rally to report about, you know, he gave a great speech. It was more than 1 hour, no scripted, no prompter.
Wow.
And I think Rosario Dawson introduced him. That was when she backed him.
Isn't that Booker's girlfriend?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
okay.
It used to be. But anyway, in California, there was a primary that was supposed to happen, and he was gaining momentum. And you remember Associated Press announced that Hillary won the primary, and I think they screwed him.
Yeah, the
Running
DNC
that.
screwed him. That's one of
Won
you
the
know Kenneth
primary.
Mejia, LA City Controller,
Yes, Mejia. Yes.
the young Filipino dude. Well, no, he's like 32 now, maybe. That's why he left the Democratic Party, and he was a Green Party for a while,
Wow.
and then eventually joined the Democrats again so that he could run for city controller, and he won. But do you know David Kim running for Congress?
Yes.
Oh,
Is he going to be at the town hall?
No.
No.
Oh, he's
I
not.
didn't invite him.
Oh, okay. He would probably show up.
Well, if you invite him, he's more than welcome.
Right. So how did you get into politics or this activism? Like,
It's just the DA's office. Well, because of the hate crime book, it expanded and got word, and so I became chair. I've been chair for 2 years, but this is like, I only know of all the politics I know
From this.
mostly because of
But that's a
county
lot, though.
people.
so prior to the hate crime book, had you done anything before, like any kind of activism or anything, even student, like high school president or anything?
Oh, well, I'm a PK, so my
pastor
parents,
kid.
my parents sent me to missions every summer. I went to Mexico, Colorado, Alaska, Afghanistan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Afghanistan,
so
wow.
I've traveled for mission work, and that's how I've been active in different communities.
What year did you go to Afghanistan?
Yeah, that was.
When
that was
the
my question.
Taliban or Al Qaeda killed one of the other Korean.
Oh, you mean Kim Son-il? When was this?
It was in 2007
This was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
or something.
There was like a bus of Koreans. right?
Yeah, so we were right behind them.
You
We
were
were
one of
right
those?
behind them. So
You were right there?
that team, that mission team,
Yeah.
also stayed in the same place we were interim in before we went to Afghanistan. We were staying in Dubai. So we stayed for a week there, and then they were there right before we came. And then we also went to Afghanistan, and we were traveling through the mountains. I was going to a village called Nayak, and that's like Taliban territory. And I remember a group of Koreans there. They were quite
23
loud.
Korean missionaries.
They were quite
They were
loud.
loud.
I wore a hijab. I wore everything head to toe. Did not make eye contact
Okay.
with any man. I did not go outside unless like we had to take a pee break. But we were very careful. My group. We knew the tone of that environment, so we were very careful. That team, from what I personally remember, they were loud.
Oh, they were loud.
What do you mean,
I-
like singing and all?
Not loud, but like when they wouldn't make a break to go outside, there was just a lot of chatter. And so I felt like in that community, like you need to know the environment you're in and, be respectful. And I don't think
The culture.
yeah, I don't know. That's my personal inclination, is that they might have been an easier target.
So you remember some of them?
I don't remember anybody because
Okay.
it was just from a distance, but I know my
You
group.
were in a different bus.
I was in a different group, completely different group.
Because they were like Koreans from Korea.
Yeah,
you were
we
like with
were-
Korean American.
Yeah, Korean American group.
Was it
yeah.
OMC?
No. It was a college group.
What made you choose Afghanistan?
I initially wanted to be
Missionary?
a nurse in the Navy. My goal was to be a captain. So I was working on becoming.
So that's
A
why
nurse.
you went to Afghanistan?
Yeah, because I wanted practice.
She's like, I'm badass.
I wanted to know the people.
She's like, I'm a.
This must have been a little bit
Badass
traumatic for you,
person for
to
God.
see this.
It was. I
right
got PTSD from
Right,
it.
I would say so.
For that summer, I came back. I was just really tired. I got depression. And so for that whole summer, I didn't go out of my house.
Yeah.
Wait, did you watch? So you saw it happen?
You saw them being kidnapped.
Oh, no, I didn't see it happen. I just
Oh.
knew the group because they were ahead of
But
us.
just to think that this group
Yeah,
was
on a
held
bus, like
hostage.
in a van.
Okay, but
Yeah.
not on the van or bus when it happened.
No, not when it
Oh.
happened.
Oh my gosh.
So we went to our destination. We spent a few nights there in Nayak, and there was no electricity. That village only had one car to share. And it was like the village chiefs, right? And so we're like, oh, okay, it's, nighttime. So lights are all out, candles not burning. And then in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m., we hear a car coming, and we're like, a car at 1 a.m. with headlights? We're like, there's something wrong. So our team, we all wake up, our team leader goes out, and then he's like, everyone pack your bags, we're leaving now. And we leave all our supplies there that are for the children and village people. And so, yeah, like we leave immediately because there was an order from our consulate to leave.
So was that car for you guys then?
That car was for us.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then we stayed one night in Kabul and then went to the airport. And at the airport, there were a lot of Afghans saying, "I'm sorry."
Oh,
like
they said
as
sorry
we were
to,
passing by.
Because the Korean government paid ransom of $20 million to
Wow.
let them free.
I have no idea about that.
There was some report. I mean,
And then they also wanted a promise to withdraw the South Korean troops from
200
Afghanistan.
of them.
20 million.
And you're an American, right?
I am American, but when I was in Afghanistan, there were a lot of things like government cars or government buildings or doors with the Korean flag on it, the sticker. Yeah.
So two of the males died.
Yeah,
Daeung
one of them was
and
a pastor, I
Shin
think.
Sung-Yoon,
Yeah,
Why
42-year-old
do you
and a
think
29-year-old.
Why do you think America stayed in Afghanistan for such a long time? Ever since the after 9/11, do you think there must have been some other hidden?
Well, they went
motivation?
into Afghanistan and Iraq after 9/11.
Yes.
Yep.
And between those two countries lies Iran, which is, I think, their main target because Iran is one of the nations that does not,
follow.
follow the
The
Western way, and is also
central bank
highly
system.
anti-Zionist, and is also at least up until recently was not very friendly with Saudi Arabia either, which is a huge U.S. ally. So, yeah, I think the plan was to eventually go after Iran, even though Afghanistan and Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11.
Yeah, because supposedly they had Osama bin Laden there, right, in Afghanistan. So I think that's the reason why they attacked. And then they've been there like 20 plus for almost how many
And
years?
Afghanistan was really like that whole thing started because the Soviets went in there way back in the day to kind of bring some equality and like education for women and all this, and the U.S. did not like that. They said, no, we got to keep these people down. So that's why they supported the Mujahideen, people like Osama bin Laden, to fight against the Soviets.
CIA was helping him.
Right. And then after the Soviets lost, then you had these like cavemen people running the country, and they were really bad.
The fundamentalists.
I think they were called the Northern Alliance.
Northern
Raping,
Alliance.
slaughtering, and everything. And then the Taliban came in, and they brought some order to the place.
Yeah.
And then they get invaded in 2001. And
All the way up to 2021.
after a 20-year battle,
Yeah.
what
I don't
happened?
think America had to be there for 20 years.
No.
I really don't understand it.
We
We
shouldn't have
think
been there
we
at all.
own all the lands. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think America shouldn't have helped Osama bin Laden from the get-go, too.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
That is also our country's MO, We go, we help the country, and then, they have no grounds for a democratic government.
Yeah,
It
why
goes
are
into
they
free
trying
fall.
to
We can't
change
westernize
someone
them. We can't
else's?
westernize Iraq.
No.
We try to, but
Yeah.
we can't. It's just ridiculous. I don't
It's
know. I mean,
disrespectful.
even us trying to make them Westerns, civilized, or like a democracy, is that also a cover? I think that's the cover. The real...
No, it has nothing to do with democracy.
Yeah,
obviously.
I think there's
It's-
something
No,
else
no,
going
no.
on.
It's
Yeah.
just empire,
Yeah.
empire building.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's a good narrative that
Yeah.
they push.
So what other countries have you been to? You've been to UAE?
Yes.
You did? Wow.
Well, she said she
Well,
went to
Dubai,
Dubai, right?
yeah.
Dubai, oh.
Where else?
I don't know, Europe, like Spain, France.
Spain, France, Italy,
Not Italy yet.
So you're an
maybe.
international
Switzerland.
girl, yeah.
No,
Luxembourg,
not that.
Liechtenstein, Poland,
No,
Germany,
unfortunately, not much of Europe.
Norway.
No,
Norway.
but I am going back in October
Where?
to south of France and Spain.
South of
Yeah,
France and
there's.
Spain.
I have friends in south of France, so
Oh, okay. So in Europe, you've been to France and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
The Middle East, UAE. You've been to Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
How about Asia?
yeah, Hong Kong, China,
Hong Kong,
Macau,
Macau.
Korea, Vietnam,
Wow, that's a lot.
Cool. Latin America.
Mexico, always once a year.
Mexico, you go there once a year?
Yeah.
Where at?
Well, like
Let me guess. Cancun.
Yeah, that's
No
what I was
way.
thinking.
Puerto Morelos.
Yeah.
Not Cancun, because I like little villages. Like,
Tulum.
no, that has become very
Touristy,
popular.
yeah.
So like Puerto Morelos, Puerto Vallarta a long time ago, before people knew about it.
Yeah.
Merida.
No, Valle de Guadalupe for wine. Yeah,
Oh.
Okay. Wow.
What's your favorite place?
Valle de Guadalupe.
No, which one's your favorite place
Among
to visit
all those nations?
out of all of it?
Not Afghanistan.
That's what I
No trauma. You know what? Like we ate naan every day with freaking Nutella and yogurt. I could not eat naan for like another 10 years. And
Wow.
Nutella too. I haven't eaten Nutella since
Really?
Afghanistan.
Wait, how long were you there?
We were there for like at least a week. I would say
week.
like at least like 8 days or so.
Oh,
Wow.
and you got sick of it that fast?
Well, because we ate it in Dubai too to get used to it. So we were snacking on it. Our mission leader was like, you guys need to get used to it. We're like, oh, okay. It tastes good. We're like, oh, something new. This is really great bread. And then in Afghanistan, I was like, I cannot eat this anymore.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How old were you on that? Were you an adult or?
I was 17.
17.
18.
cow.
18.
Wow.
Either way, that must be
You are a
terrifying.
very adventurous girl at that age to go just straight to Afghanistan, you know, as a missionary, right?
If I have a goal, I will do everything I can to achieve it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a whole bunch of bucket list to
Are you a Pempti?
Pemti, I'm Yongti.
Yongti.
88.
88. And I'm Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
88 Scorpio.
Hey,
Okay.
Scorpio.
All right. Well,
Oh, we already.
yeah, we
the
already
1 hour
passed an
mark.
hour.
Wow. How? What is happening
I know,
today?
that was good conversation.
Vortex of time.
Yeah, is this okay? Because we did the town hall and all that
thing.
discussion in the
Yeah.
first 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes was more like
Yeah, the
free.
Afghan story.
last
was very
30 minutes
interesting.
keep just like-
it was interesting.
What is
Yeah, that was a wild. I mean,
didn't-
a very
I had no
interesting to hear
idea.
that.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah,
you were
I didn't-
18.
I was 18. Yeah, I haven't talked about it in a long time because I didn't like
Want
sharing
to.
that.
Yeah.
And then even already when I say I've been to Afghanistan, I have to explain the story. So I choose not to say I've been
because
to
it might,
a
it
lie.
might rise
anywhere.
up
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
emotion
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Now you can just
Okay.
link people to this video if they ask. Like,
Yeah.
this is what happened.
Timestamp included.
Starting
Or
at-
like just ignore the
You
question.
know, I think
You're like,
Esther
what?
can unpack a lot of stories. I get the feeling, you know.
So wait, is this over?
No.
Because we're talking so freely.
No, it's not.
Wait, but have you guys heard about Jonathan Jung?
Jonathan.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
So, Korea Daily has actually written 3 separate articles in the last month about his story. So basically, he was also 40-something years older. I forgot how, 44 or something. This was 3 years ago at Bicycle Casino. He struggled with mental illness his whole life.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get better, but basically he went to the casino to gamble. He was experiencing a mental health episode.
Okay.
And he was asked to leave. Security already called a 5150 to Bell Gardens
5150?
police. Yeah. The police were on their way. The security guard asked him to leave. He left the casino doors from where he came in from. And then 5 security guards followed him out. They chased him in the parking lot, putting him in a hog hold position. They punched him first, knocked him to the ground. He was laying on his belly. Knee on the back. They grabbed his feet, put it together, pushed it behind his back, and a 260-pound security guard was leaning on that too.
oh my God.
on
what
his
the fuck?
legs. Went also another security guard put his knee on his back. And this was a year after George Floyd passed. And from what I understand is in California, there was a legislation that passed where security guards or law enforcement people are not allowed to put knee on anyone's backs anymore to restrain them.
Yes.
But apparently these security guards did not get training either. Jonathan, he turned blue, he threw up, and he died. That's a tragedy in itself. But basically, there was no thorough investigation. The coroner's office deemed it a meth overdose.
Meth overdose.
Wow.
Yes,
that's
because they
crazy.
found it in his system, but like it was death by asphyxiation. He couldn't breathe. He turned blue. That stressor caused him to pass. Now his family filed a civil lawsuit and they're going through the case right now at Long Beach court. But the tragedy that happened after is that his mom, who depended on him because she had onset dementia, he would help her in her daily tasks, go to the market, take care of her. But when she learned of his tragedy, her dementia got more severe. His sister filed a lawsuit against the casino. What happened was, after she saw the video of Jonathan dying, which they only released 2 years after his death, they showed her the video when she said, I don't want to see my brother die.
Who showed it to her?
The lawyers.
A year
Her
ago.
lawyers.
The casino's lawyers, not her lawyers.
Casinos.
The
side.
casino.
Without her lawyers there?
I think the lawyers, I have no idea exactly,
yeah.
but she did not want to see the
But
video.
was shown it.
They pushed her to see
it.
it. She couldn't unsee it in her head. She was a psychologist. She had a PhD in a lovely home, a lovely life in Malibu. She took care of pets. She got depressed. She started giving her pets away because she didn't think that she was fit to take care of them. And then she was still very close with her husband, who is also an MD. And basically, she rented a room in a hotel, and she committed suicide
shoot.
in the bathroom. She was found in
So
the
she
bathroom.
was doing okay before that, prior to. But
Yes,
after she saw the video
wanted to
footage.
fight for her brother.
But she didn't want to see the video footage. But the
No.
video footage caused her to go through all
Wait,
this
the
kind of
sister
mental
did or the mother
turmoil?
did?
No, the sister.
Oh.
And this is some crazy
Because
story.
they were so close. She initially wanted to become a pediatrician, but then she switched her major to be a psych major so that she could help her brother. Like, that's how close they were, and that's how devoted she was to him. And so that's why I don't know why people have not found out about this. And I
Were
just
there some protests
This-
regarding this? too?
no,
This
no,
casino
now.
is Korean owned, right?
no, yeah, now it is.
But back then it wasn't.
Back then it wasn't.
The casino was Korean owned?
It is now.
Now.
It is now, but not
not
when the new owner he bought it after this incident.
And he already knew, the new owner knew about what happened and all that and all the lawsuits.
I'm sure because he was on the board.
Oh.
So, but it's like, okay, who's responsible? That's why
But
it's
why did the casino side lawyer push her to watch it, even
They-
though she didn't want to watch it?
because
Can they
that's
do
what
that? Can
any
they force
other
upon you?
lawyer. That's what any defensive lawyer does, is that they intimidate people to not pursuing a lawsuit.
Are they
or
Korean
not
too, though?
continuing. The other lawyers?
Yeah.
No.
I doubt it, yeah.
Are they, you know?
And her lawyers should have, protected her and say she doesn't want to watch it.
I believe they
Because-
tried. I don't know what happened, but the lawyers were just as shocked as well.
Oh, boy.
They wanted to respect their client, and their client was Jonathan's sister, Vanessa.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Do you know
That's
what
some
happened
crazy
to
story,
the
too.
security guards?
No. So also, they didn't report as they should have. The security guards are supposed to report deaths to that security group, but that didn't happen under California law. You're supposed to do that. And so I think one is working there still, but we don't know what happened to the rest.
Looks like you have another report to do, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna find
I
out.
know.
According to
Ed-
the video footage, who did they attack him out of the blue for no
They
particular reason?
followed
If you look-
him. It's
if you watch
bullying.
the
That's
video
why I'm
footage-
talking about people. We need to me too. We need to change our perception
Yes.
of people with a mental health illness. I need to learn too. I think everyone should
But
learn.
There is a stigma. There's
Yeah.
a stigma.
So he
And
had some mental some issues.
He was
too.
experiencing a mental health episode. The video shows like he was
Okay.
frantic.
Oh, okay.
He was bothering
But
other
they
patrons.
didn't know that probably.
But he had no weapon. He wasn't physically threatening. So,
there was no reason to chase him out.
No.
None of them were Asian, right?
no.
So the securities didn't know what they were even dealing with. I would think. They were
think-
just
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, way over now.
Okay.
But
Yeah, we're good.
thank you for informing us
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw parts of the video actually before, and I remember thinking like, oh, that's the Koreatown casino. But
Yeah, I've never heard that.
yeah,
Yeah. It's unfortunate, very tragic.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
we'd love for you to come back and talk more if you hear these kinds of stories again. And
Oh yeah.
yeah. And don't forget, everybody, next week, Thursday on the 11th at 6 p.m. at 500 Chateau
Chateau
Place on the
Place.
6th floor.
Probably
is
a
the
little bit
town
earlier.
hall.
Yeah, but we'll let
Ed
you
is
know.
probably going
I'll
to
let
be
you
there
know.
by 4
That
or
was
5,
World-
right, I guess. Yeah.
World
Mission
Mission
University.
World
University.
Mission
Yeah.
University. So, I assume our news
Yeah,
team is going to be
that's-
there.
Oh, they should be.
I
I
mean,
want to go.
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Let's see
Okay.
whether LAPD shows up.
We hope so.
We should invite Doug. Remember last time he got all...
Yeah.
Riled up.
Yeah, we should ask him to come out.
I'm really hoping to
Yeah.
say some words
Right.
during the town hall.
Yeah. This
right.
town hall is for the community,
Yeah.
again,
Okay.
for the community.
Yep.
And I thought Korea Daily was going to endorse that, but I didn't see
They're
it.
just coming.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
Yeah,
Just
so I don't think they could get their board's approval like that.
Oh,
Yeah, I think there's a deeper
right.
structure.
I mean, usually during the election cycle, they have a board, whether they're going to endorse certain politician or candidate.
Korean community really has a
but
stigma against
that
mental
had
health,
nothing to
so-
do with Gascon, right? It has nothing
No,
to do with
no,
so,
no.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Esther Lim, for coming in.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having
Thanks,
me.
Esther.
We'll see
Yeah.
you again some other time, hopefully not because of tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something more
Yes.
upbeat.
Lighter.
And we'll see you at the town hall next week, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
And
you.
all of you, we'll see you guys. Wait,
July 11th.
camera's right here. We'll
6
see you
p.m.
guys there, too. Thanks to Ed and Michael Wan. And next week, we'll be back with Doug Kim. So
Doug is back.
thank you
Doug
all.
will be back.
And peace out.
you later.
Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.
So you have an office there?
Yeah, I rented from my dad. My dad actually is the president of World Mission University.
Oh.
Yeah,
He's
so
the president there. Okay.
yeah, so that's why we're having it there.
Was your dad a pastor? Or was he?
Yeah. My
Like the main one.
grandpa founded ONC. My great uncle, I just call him grandpa.
What is it? What was his name?
임동선 목사님.
Oh, you're what? So your dad is John Lim?
No, that's my great uncle.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
your uncle.
so my dad's
mean-
my dad's grandfather is Im Dong-sun's brother, oldest
Your
brother. Yeah,
grandfather is Indo.
great.
So that church is your family
great uncle. Yeah,
So that's
business
why the last name
legacy?
is Lim. I mean, he's
Yeah.
Family church.
Im Dong-sun 목사님
family
is
church. Yeah,
huge.
I know.